Hello, good morning, everybody. The Stanley Cup playoffs begin this weekend, and we're about to break down a few of the first-round series with DraftKings contributor Geoff. Ulrich, RotoWire's Scholz is here as well. On this segment, we call Opening Face-off. One final regular season game on the schedule tonight, though, guys. We have made it. It's the Maple Leafs and the Jets. Who would you captain from this game in the showdown contest, Geoff?
You know, I know he's expensive. I know he's going to be popular, but I just don't really see anyone else with that you can trust for similar upside than Auston Matthews here. I think this is a spot where you've got a young player. He's already got 41 goals in the year. He's in an MVP race. He's probably going to go out there and try and get a couple goals. Why not? If you're going to play in the game, you might as well try and add to your totals here. The matchup is great. Winnipeg allows a ton of scoring chances. They have all year. They're not getting good goaltending down the stretch here. I think Auston Matthews is a player, too, when you look at these teams. There is some value on the Jets' third line. A guy like Mason Appleton is really cheap here. He produces. He plays a lot of minutes. Stasny's pretty cheap here. So, get Alex Galchenyuk. You can pair with Matthews. So I think all things considered with the other options we have in terms of value pairing them, I think you captain Auston Matthews here in a pretty terrific matchup, quite frankly. And then you just you try and mix and match on the other flexes.
AJ, what are you going to do?
I totally agree with Geoff. I think that's the right call. The one caveat I'll throw in there is we just saw earlier this week, Boston rested like 10 of their guys, 15 of their guys. I think if that happens, I'm actually going to look at Connor Hellebuyck. He's confirmed to be playing in this game. He's got shutouts in 2 of his last 3 games. So I think if any of the Leafs stars rest in this game, then I'm taking the other side and going to go with Hellebuyck between the nets as my captain.
Yeah, that Bruins game was more like the Providence Bruins against like the Hershey Bears with Washington. AJ, we went over some series lines like yesterday, so let's finish up the first round matchups here. Who do you like in the Canadiens versus Leafs series?
Well, I mean, you have to be on the Maple Leafs. I know it's like minus 275. It's a lot, but I just can't trust the Canadiens here when you consider they've got guys like Carey Price, who could be coming into game 1 cold with no regular season action after being out. Shea Weber's been out for a while. Brendan Gallagher. There's just too many question marks there. Geoff talked about all the reasons to trust Auston Matthews. You've got a guy in Mitch Marner, John Tavares. They're just overclassed, Toronto is, compared to the Habs. They've got too many stars on offense. Their defense looks really good as well and can produce on the power play. They're just going to be too much to handle for Montreal.
Yo, Geoff, I know you're Canadian. Did you see your prime minister, the video he posted yesterday? I know he's a hardcore Habs fan, just talking mad-ish about the Maple Leafs.
Look, I got lots of stuff to say about Justin Trudeau, but I guess we're in kind of an agreement here. I'm gonna become playoff hockey guy here for a second, Emerson. Do you know when the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won a playoff series, pal? 2004. They didn't hire me for math, but that was 17 years ago. No way am I backing the Toronto Maple Leafs to win a playoff series at this price. I get it. They've looked great in the regular season. They got Auston Matthews, but I really actually don't trust this team's goaltending is the other thing. I will take a cold Carey Price over anyone Toronto is throwing out there. I know Jack Campbell's looked good in stretches, but we also saw him cool off here. Look, Montreal, they're frustrating during the regular season. I get it, but you look at the stats between these two teams. They both have subpar penalty kills. They both are pretty high up there in expected goal rate. Montreal really wasn't that bad in a lot of advanced stats. If their offense picks up a touch, their goaltending picks up a touch, this series is going to be very close. I think you take the value with Montreal. And look, at the very least, if you get in at Montreal on this price, if this goes to a game 6 or a game 7, you can hedge out. So do I think that Toronto is probably going to win? They're a better team, but man, this price is way too tempting for me not to take on Montreal. Like I said, it could present some good hedge situations later in the series.
Yeah, I believe the last time these teams played each other was 1979, like in the playoffs. And the Canadiens end up winning that series and their 4th straight Stanley Cup, Geoff. Whew, they pay me for history here. The other North Division matchup features the favored Oilers against the Jets. Who are you leaning towards in this one, Ulrich?
Yeah, I think most people will be looking at this one more as the one to take the underdog with the Jets. I get it. The Oilers' defense isn't that good, but these two teams are very similar. Like the Jets give up more scoring chances than the Oilers. They're a worse defensive team in pretty much every metric. Do you really want to get into a shootout series with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl? I just don't see the Jets being able to keep up. Mike Smith, I know AJ doesn't like Mike Smith. I didn't really like Mike Smith at the start of the year either, but he's played better than Connor Hellebuyck. So the Oilers might even have an edge in goalie. I would just go with the favorites here, even though I think this is maybe a series that I'll probably just lay off.
AJ, Oilers minus 186, Jets plus 150.
Oilers minus 186. I think you're right. Smith, since the start of April, 9-3-1, a .927 save percentage, one shutout along there. You've got the two best players offensively this season in McDavid and Draisaitl. And let's not sleep on a guy like Tyson Barrie, who's got 23 points with the man advantage. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins can move to the top line, to the second line. He could anchor his own third line if they wanted to stretch it out. The Oilers just have too many options. Meanwhile, the Jets seem to completely miscast. Pierre-Luc Dubois is not a winger. Neither is Paul Stastny. So they're forcing those guys into lines that they really shouldn't be on. Maybe Nikolai Ehlers comes back. That would help the Jets on their depth, could extend the series a little bit. But overall, Edmonton will take this one.
AJ, let's just go to the West Division right now. So you got the Wilds, heavy underdogs to Vegas. Do you think Las Vegas here has the clear edge?
I do, and a lot of it, I think, comes down to just sheer experience here, right? You've got Max Pacioretty, Jonathan Marchessault, Mark Stone. All these guys have been in playoff contests. They know what they're doing. They've got a 3-time Stanley Cup winner between the pipes and Marc-Andre Fleury. On the other side, the top 3 of the top 4 point producers for Minnesota were Kirill Kaprizov, 51, Kevin Fiala, 40, Jordan Greenway at 32. These guys have combined for 31 postseason games. I think Cam Talbot has played better than we've seen from him since he was with the Edmonton Oilers several years ago. But overall, the Fleury-Leonard combination is too much. I give the edge to the Golden Knights and the Nets. I give the edge in the forward complement and the D as well, even though that's kind of what Minnesota is known for. They check all 3 boxes for me, and so I think they'll take this one as well. So I'm going to stay away from it at minus 240. It is still hockey. That's a risk too big to take in my book.
Geoff, they have the edge everywhere in your eyes too?
No, I don't think they do. I mean, I'm surprised to see the Wild at this price. I thought we'd get plus 150, maybe even plus 130. I mean, the Wild are a good team. They were chasing down the top 2 teams in this division all season. It's not a big deal for them to finish third. These are 2 of the best teams in the league, right? But look, Vegas, we don't know what's going on with Max Pacioretty, their best forward up front. Their offense could easily run dry here against a pretty solid defense of the Minnesota Wild. Like AJ said, Cam Talbot playing really well. This is my favorite underdog pick of the ones we've talked. I mean, like I said, I don't mind taking Montreal, but I think the Wild are absolutely live in this series. It's a very scrappy team. They get scoring from different directions. They got a guy like Kevin Fiala who can get hot playing on their third line here. Look, at the very least, I just think these odds are not giving enough respect to the Wild. So even if you do like the Vegas team here, I don't know how you bet them at this price. For me, the target here is definitely the Wild. And like I said, I think they're very live to win this series, especially if Max Pacioretty ends up sitting out.